I'm going to go through updating SpeeDB A405 version 4 flight controller, installing BlueJay 2 ESCs, setting up motors order and rotation direction, setting up Displayport for Avatar Sky Unit, updating ExpressLRS receiver using ExpressLRS Configurator, applying some presets in Betaflight, and finally bind the receiver to my controller. First thing I always do is back up all the factory settings. Maybe an overkill, but I like to back up dump file, diff all and presets. That's done now. Next thing I want to do is to update SpeeDB A405 version 4 flight controller. And in order to do that, we need to enable DFU mode. It's enabled. We have to pick the firmware version and the most important thing, correct board name. Rest of the options are nicely explained in Betaflight. So don't be afraid to check the description under those question mark icons. You'll notice I'm not going with the latest RC1 and RC2 releases. Those are release candidates, not golden final releases. Instead, I'm picking the latest final release. Loading online firmware first. Once it's loaded, it's ready to be installed. Simply click on Flash Firmware button and be patient. I'll speed up the video here. And it's done successfully. At this point we should unplug the USB cable. We can replug the USB now. And the COM port is recognized. Connecting for the first time after the update, we should apply factory defaults for our boards. When it's done, we have to connect our board again. Totally normal. We will have to pick the motor protocol and of course calibrate our accelerometer. First, I want to pick the motor protocol. I won't be able to set up everything just yet. In order to be able to enable bidirectional D-shot, I have to update my ESC to BlueJay first. I'll come to that little later, and then come back to Betaflight to enable that option. For now, I should leave it disabled. So, the only thing that's left is to calibrate the accelerometer. Drone should be placed on perfectly flat surface, and make sure not to shake it while calibration is being done. And that's completed too. Let's quickly take a look at some of the default options after the FC upgrade. I'll have to go through most of them and configure them to my liking. Modes tab is not populated, nor Motors tab. Ports tab, configuration, and few others. Of course, OSD is not populated, and we have to configure it the way we like our OSD in goggles to look like. We're going to do one of the most important things when it comes to setting up our freshly built quadcopter. Opening ESC-Configurator.com page. SpeedyB F405 V4, just like V3, came with BLHeli-S pre-installed. This ESC is more than capable of running BLHeli-32. So why does it come with BLHeli-S instead? Which, by the way, can't run bidirectional D-shot. And that's a good question. Because manufacturers have to cut corners in order to make such a powerful ESC so affordable. BLHeli-32 costs money, while BLHeli-S on the other hand is free. You know what else is free? BlueJay is free. You'll notice that I already have BlueJay installed, but I will upgrade it again just to show you how easy it is to do it. Again, originally it came with BLHeli-S pre-installed. I'll pick BlueJay for the firmware, and make sure to pick the correct ESC name and firmware version. We will also need to pick PWM frequency, press flash, and wait until all 4 ESCs are updated. And it's done. Remember, in order to update ESCs, you will have to have your quad plugged to some power source. USB is not enough. Once I reconnect, I will be presented with some options. There is tons of videos out there explaining what each one does, and in order not to burn your ESC or motors, it's very important to set them correctly. Also, in case you're dealing with motor desyncs, this is where you come back to adjust motor timing, ramp-up power, DMAC compensation, etc. Pay attention to pop-up help panels. In most cases, they will tell you what you need to do and when. So, this part of the job is completed. ESCs are successfully updated to BlueJay. To visit Motor tab in Betaflight. I'm gonna be doing a couple of things here. Remember, I've mentioned I'll be back to enable bidirectional D-shot option. And that's what I'll do next. Bidirectional D-shot allows ESCs to report motor RPM after each D-shot packet. Guessing right? We installed BlueJay so we can play with RPM filtering, which, if set correctly, makes your quad fly much better. Or even worse, depending on how you deal with filters. The good thing is, we can leave that for much smarter FPV community members. Some of them are Mark Spats from UAV Tech, even Efim of Limon, or SuperFlyFPV. They've made their amazing presets available in Betaflight 4.3 and up. Next step I want to do is check my motor order. Program will start spinning each motor starting with motor 1, switching to motor 2, followed by motor 3, and finally the last one, motor 4. Click save and that's done. Going back to Motor tab. This time we'll check motor spinning direction. For easier spotting which direction they spin, I use some paper props made of masking tape. I have prop out configuration on all my custom builds. I'm checking each motor spin direction, one by one. Let's check the motor 2. Next is motor 3. And finally, motor number 4. They all spin correctly for my props out configuration, meaning motors number 1 and 4 should spin counterclockwise, and motors number 2 and 3 should spin clockwise. I'm demonstrating it with this arrow animation I quickly made. Best of all, with SpeeDB, we don't need a computer to be able to do this. I can use my SpeeDB Adapter 3 and the mobile app to do it in the field. How amazing is that? In case you need to change your motor rotation direction, it's as easy as pressing a reverse button in Betaflight. This time I didn't need to do that. For props out configuration, all my motors spin in correct direction. So that's done too. Time to configure few more things in Betaflight. First, I need to set up Displayport for Avatar Sky unit. I'm visiting Ports tab again. I've connected my VTX wires to RX1 and TX1. That is UART1, and it means we have to enable MSP for UART1. Under peripherals, we have to pick VTX MSP plus Displayport from the drop-down menu. I've connected my receiver to RX2 and TX2, and it means UART2 is my receiver port. Remember to click Save and Reboot button, otherwise your changes won't be saved to your flight controller. Checking ports tab one more time. All seems in good order. Next, I have to go into CLI to write and commit couple of commands. First one will be set OSD_DisplayPort_device equals MSP. Second one, set VCD_video_system equals HD. Type save and click enter to commit those changes. And that's done too. That this does not populate OSD with telemetry information. We have to customize that ourselves. And we can do that by simply using copy-paste from some other quad configuration file we like. Here, I'm copying aux channels for my modes tab, telling my quad how to respond to my controller signals. Simply paste it into the CLI, type save, and click enter. Now, if we check our modes tab, we will notice it's all configured. I just did that by copying and pasting aux portion of my old file. same with OSD screen and bring all my custom elements I like to see in my goggles. If we go back to OSD tab now, we'll notice all is there, as it should be. I need to change a couple of other little things. This part is showing quite simple update process of the ELRS receiver using ExpressLRS Configurator. First, we need to pick firmware release version, device category. In my case, it's Happy Model 2.4 GHz. And the device itself. This is the name for my device. It's still Radiomaster RP1 Nano RX, but they simply use Happy Model files. Binding phrase is an amazing feature. Don't look at it as a security feature because it's not. It just helps you bind all your receivers with your controller in an effortless way. No button presses are needed. Click on Flash button and wait until it's compiled and installed. Success! We're going back to Betaflight. Presets are a great feature. All this is possible to configure either directly in Betaflight options or through CLI, but some amazing community members already took their time to help us. So why not use it? First one I want to install is called ExpressLRS 250Hz. Going through some options. When done, we have to click on Pick button. And of course, save and reboot to actually apply that preset. Second one I want to install is called Seii-FPV Freestyle 5-inch. Again, I have to go through a couple of options before I can apply it. Pretty straightforward and easy to understand. And that's done too. We can see some changes done to our PID tuning page. As for the rates, lately I found myself really enjoying Patrick Watkins' rates. He uses Betaflight rates, but I've converted them into actual rates and will enter them here now. Need to visit receiver page for a moment. Telemetry needs to be enabled. I also like to set my RC and yaw deadband to value of 3. To see how easy it is to bind your ExpressLRS receiver to a controller using bind phrase we defined a few moments ago. that easy. They're already bound. Please ignore these constant zero callouts on my controller. That's my low voltage notification I have set for all my quads. Quick check on the receiver tab to make sure receiver is responding correctly to all my stick movements on the controller. Inside the Modes tab, we can test actions I've assigned to my controller buttons. Everything works as it should. Time to test my 6th custom build out in the field. Just have to wait until this annoying weather clears out.